Americans, live from the CBNN News Network. I'm Carmine Lee Adams, and you're watching the Comic News. Lead story this week, comic book prices continue to go up as distributors deal with higher expenses. ComicsPro conference was held in Pittsburgh this weekend. It's the first time it has been held in person since 2020. For those of you who are not familiar with the annual ComicsPro conference, it's one of the largest annual conferences for comic book distributors and provides a chance for these folks who supply our LCSs and comic book industry with the books we read, collect, and love. Ahead of this year's meetings, ComicsPro President Jean Haynes, owner of the Dragon stores in Ontario, Canada, provided her insight in a recent interview about the year that was and what we can expect in 2023. By the way, Canada-based The Dragon comic stores and its owner, Jen Hayes, are recipients of numerous awards, recognizing excellence in retail and the comic community, including the extremely prestigious Will Eisner Spirit of Comics Retailing Award, which recognizes the best comic stores in the world. So, when Jen offers her take on the industry, we may want to all pay attention. One of the main challenges distributors and shops faced in 22 and a main topic of conversation at this year's ComicsPro event, increased expenses, specifically shipping costs. Comics stayed relatively the same in terms of profit margin due to the publishers absorbing those increased costs to print comics. Ms. Haynes went on to say, quote, "I'm not sure how much longer publishers can keep doing this before they have to increase cover prices. Retailers have seen their profit margins slashed by the cost of receiving orders, especially from Diamond Comics. As a result of conversations with them about how detrimental this is for shops, Diamond is working on a couple of things that should bring costs down for retailers. But we're talking about an increase from 5% to 20%, and that's something no store can weather without impact," end quote. So what does this mean to you and me? Well, if they don't get this fixed, prices will likely be going up again, and soon. Boom Studios and others seem to be listening, as they will offer a rebate program on shipping for the 2023 year to try to ease the pressure a bit. Quote, "Direct market retailers are the lifeblood of our industry," said Boom Studios President of Publishing and Marketing, Philip Sablick. "We pride ourselves in how we listen and respond to the changing publishing landscape and how we strive to meet the needs of our retail partners to continue growing our business together." Hey, look, let's hope that Diamond, Image, Boom, DC, and all the distributors get the printing, shipping, and price increase problem solved at this year's meetings so we can all keep comics affordable and accessible for the next generation of readers and collectors. Now we want to hear from you. What do you think about the recent price increases we've seen at our LCSs for comics and collectibles? We'd love to hear you provide your take, so go ahead and sound off in the chat. And now, on to page 2. The Collector Showdown, Week 5, finished up yesterday, which marks the end of the meet and greet preliminary rounds. Next Saturday, the brackets will be created based on the results of the preliminary rounds, and yesterday saw matches starting off with One True Nerd King versus Rob Buys Comics. And then we had that followed by Stray Flexin, cool sunglasses and cowboy hat I might add, against LJ's Comics. And finally, LI Comic Guys taking on Joker Queen Comics. Let's take a look at what happened yesterday.
You guys have definitely established the floor here.
I'm pretty sure that if we weren't at the floor before, we are now.
That's a book? Condom, man. These things come together. There's a female end and a male end. If you know how that works, right? It goes into the hole. So if you glue the male end, you put some crazy glue and inserts in, it doesn't come out. So
David, don't do that with your wife.
Oh, yeah. Just the tip, right?
Goes in, just the tip goes in, and something comes out. Got it. Tip goes in, something comes out.
There will be. You're gonna need like a damp cloth to wipe off the residual of the crazy glue, because it does. There is a back to that, hole, so it does ooze out.
Yeah,
so you're going to have to, wipe it off a little bit.
Sometimes it's kind of tight to put it in.
It is kind of tight, but if you get it like a rubber mallet, you'll be all right, right? Yaniv, you advance into, or you got placed into the winner's bracket. John, you're going to have to dig your way through the loser's bracket. Maybe end up in the finals. Someone's done it before.
As long as I don't go against Rob and them, I'll be fine.
Look at him trying to like weasel his way into a better bracket.
So, but I just wanted to tell my story and enjoy it. And
Wait, John, did you just say you threw this to make Yaniv feel better about himself?
No. I would have loved to.
All right, round 5 books. Ivan with the beatdown.
4-1.
4-1. Again, this is the meet and greet round before we get into the knockout rounds.
No more grab ass.
There is no more grab ass after this show. We go into the knockout rounds, tournament style bracket. So, chat on the next one. It's for real.
Well, that was educational. And for those of you scoring at home, here are a few things to consider as we move into the elimination rounds. First, yes, Condom Man #1 did score a match-clinching victory yesterday, and Rob was able to move on to the winner's bracket, unlike John from LJ's Comics, and only had to use one big book to do it. Interesting to see how that plays out. Thanks, Dom, as always, and Gotham Comics for another entertaining show we'll be watching as the competition rolls on. Speaking of great collectors, that brings us to our segment that we like to call... Tell me about your handle.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Mikey from Totally Awesome Comics. So I was asked, how did we come up with the name for the shop? Well, my brother and I, when we decided we wanted to open up the shop, we were trying to think of names that kind of reminded us of when we started collecting books back in the 90s. So we were thinking like super cool, rad, things like that. And then we were like, what about Awesome Comics? And then we remembered the run Totally Awesome Hulk, so we're like, you know what about Totally Awesome Comics? And that's it. It's totally awesome.
A quick reminder, everyone, Comic-Cons are back and are looking to have a big year. Everyone's traveling again, and that includes collectors, cosplayers, and con attendees. MegaCon in Orlando, C2E2 in Chicago, AllCon in Dallas, and celebrating its 20th anniversary, Emerald City Comic-Con in Seattle, all take place next month. And the celebrity announcements have been freaking jaw-dropping. Please let us know in the chat if you have plans to attend a con this year and which one. But for my money, the Comic-Con that changed the game and helped save the hobby during COVID when there were no Comic-Cons was the virtual Comic-Con at Con. Event, folks, is always special, always innovative, always record-breaking, like last year's 24-hour live sale. Woo! That was exhausting. I think Islander Phil is still resting up from that. And CBNN will be there every step of the way to recap the daily happenings at AtCon on Elite Comics 11. This year, it will start on March 8th and roll on through March 12th. Stay tuned, set those notifications, folks, for the announcements of the celebrities, of the shows, of the events, of the unique sellers, of the unique happenings that'll be taking place all week at this year's AtCon. I'm super freaking stoked about this year. Speaking of our friends at Elite Comics 11, that brings us to our always popular segment. What are you doing?
Wow, 9-6.
Yeah, this was a cool storyline. This was the climactic issue.
Is that like it looks similar to Fantastic Four #4, right?
No,
No?
not really.
It's not Namor running on the beach. Maybe I'm just seeing things. All right.
Oh no, it's Doctor Doom teamed up with the
It
FF.
just seemed like a similar kind of pose or whatever.
Well,
Anyways,
yeah, I guess it is.
you can humor me, Ted. All right. You can humor me. All right. It has a comic book character on it. All right.
Much better.
All right. Comic Book News Network. If you do a segment on what are you doing, and
Oops, sorry,
try
I
to
forgot.
try to use my my description that I cover, we're gonna call you fake news.
Sorry about that.
We here at CBNN are always watching, Ali. What are you doing? And finally tonight, our first CBNN editorial. For this week's segment, we're going all the way back to 2 weeks ago, Valentine's Day 2023. Two things happened on February 14th of this year. Miss Carmine Lee Adams and I celebrated 24 years of marital bliss. And Kevin Feige sat down for an exclusive interview with Entertainment Weekly to talk about the future of the MCU. And if you sift through all of the to-be-expected promotional speak, Kevin gives us a quote that should be an encouraging sign for all fans of superheroes, comics, and Marvel. Kevin indicated his recognition that superhero Marvel fatigue may be setting in, and offers his solution. Did you know that it has been 23 years since Hugh Jackman tested for Wolverine? And in that time, there have been 31 MCU films. Ant-Man is the 31st, which it's a bit weird considering the whole Baskin-Robbins 31 flavors thing. Anyway, has the last offering from Marvel, Ant-Man and the Quantum Mania, or Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantum Mania, been a commercial success so far? Yeah, I think you could say so. It's the highest weekend opening of any of the three Ant-Man movies, earning $104 million over the long President's Day weekend and around $225 million worldwide. So the strategy to release the movie in February instead of the usual summer release seems to be working out. But as we look at the rest of MCU Phase 5 and 6, what project can you really say that people are excited about? Me, I'm more excited about the upcoming DC Flash movie, and can't think of a single Marvel project that I'm just dying to go see. Lately, it seems as if the talk is, yeah, I'll go see the latest Marvel offering, but I'm really not excited to see the latest Marvel offering. It's almost like going out on a date with that ex-girlfriend. You'll do it. There'll be a few good times, and heck, you might even get lucky. But it's not exactly something you're looking forward to, and in the end, you're just kind of glad when it's over. And really, if you're being honest, the whole reason that you went out on the date to start with is just because of a lack of better options. So that brings me to Mr. Feige's quote that could signal a change in the strategy that will lead us away from the brink of market saturation and could signal a new direction that will prolong the further cement the comic book resurgence that began in 2020. And I quote, "I do think one of the powerful aspects of being at Marvel Studio is having these films and shows hit the zeitgeist. It is harder to hit the zeitgeist when there's so much product out there and so much content, as they say, which is a word that I hate. But we want Marvel Studios and the MCU projects to really stand out and stand above. So people will see that as we get further into Phase 5 and 6, the pace at which we're putting out the Disney Plus shows will change so that they can each get a chance to shine." Yes! Well done, Kevin. This comic fan, along with millions of others, agree that each story should stand alone. Let's not have superhero-related entertainment go the way of the Western by oversaturating the market. You and Mr. Gunn get together, avoid the temptation to chase the dollar, and chart a course for long-term sustainability and growth by giving fans more quality and less quantity. And that's our take. And that's also this week's show. From all of us here at CBNN, thanks for watching. We hope you enjoy the show. Please feel free to follow and tag a friend of yours if you think they would enjoy the show. Happy hunting, everyone. And from all of us here at CBNN, I'm Carmine Lee Adams saying, you've been watching the Comic News. We'll see you next time.